Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the world you are. Hope you are doing great. Thanks for joining with another session from Microsoft Zero to Hero Learning Room community from Microsoft Learn. We are so happy to be here again, hosting you, and together with Mehrdad. Uh, Thanks for taking time to going to dive into Azure Data Fundamentals with this amazing topic. And I'm sure many people interested with Azure data technologies and services nowadays with data and AI, with Microsoft as a leader in the market. And it is one of the important topics within Microsoft ecosystem to learn actually within this learning path. So thanks for joining. I'm so excited to kick off the session, and I'm just quickly gonna move forward with my slides to finish it quickly. So Microsoft Learn, hashtag make it your homepage. And actually, beside hashtag, also make it your homepage, because we are all together in this path learning Microsoft services and technologies. And it's really important that we keep ourselves up to date. With the customized learning paths, modules, applied skills, Microsoft Learn certifications, and it's really important to stay up to date, continue your learning, and continue the consistency with learning, and you will see how it affects with consistent learning. Together with learning rooms, we are always here to host you, to help you within your learning path and your career path. The aim for learning rooms within Microsoft Learn Tech community is to bring everyone together, from learner to student to fresh graduate to professionals, MVPs, RDs, Microsoft employees. And we're so happy to help you in your learning path with any career, any learning path you would like to learn within Microsoft Learn. So make it your homepage. So as you're aware, Microsoft Backyard episode 1 is live in our YouTube channel, in the community channels that we've shared. And it's so exciting initiative that we've started with the first episode, not just being technical, but interviewing with people with professional background and experiences to ask them questions, to share with us how they handle their day-to-day stuff and tasks, how they were able to become here, how they manage everything during a day, in a week, in a month. So this is Microsoft Backyard. It's really an exciting program from Microsoft Zero to Hero community, and absolutely recommended that, of course, after this session, if you have time, just take some time and watch Microsoft Backyard first episode. It's a 30-minute session together with professionals, and but again, not a technical session. This month's calendar is amazing, and we are so excited to host professionals all over the world again with amazing topics and learning again from their beautiful and great experiences. And still, this calendar continues. And as mentioned, today we have Mehrdad with us. He's also a Microsoft Learn expert with the Learning Room community about Microsoft Fabric, and absolutely recommended that he will be explaining about Microsoft Azure Data Fundamentals. And if you're interested, you can also continue with your learning path within the learning rooms. And my last slide about code of conduct. As usual, we always share with all of our sessions. So being aware of each other, being friendly and patient, welcoming and respectful, opening to all questions and viewpoints, and understanding differences, and being kind and considerate to others. With that said, I'm going to add Mehrdad to the stage. Hi, Mehrdad.
Hi, Hamid. How are you?
Fine,
Thanks
thank you.
for having me.
Of course, anytime. Thanks for taking time and joining. So excited for this session.
Yeah, that was really incredible kickoff, and I was just really excited about the Microsoft Backyard. As you know, it is not always good to talk about the technical things. It's going to be boring, and so
Yeah.
it is good to know the softer skills, to know how the experts are just managing the task, as you mentioned. That is awesome. I'm really looking forward to that one. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, we are so excited, not just always talking about technical stuff. And from the feedback that we got from also the community and learners after publishing the first episode of Microsoft Azure, we saw that people really would love to also see, for instance, you as professional, beside the technical stuff, who are you as Mehrdad Abdullahi? So what do you do from morning till evening, and what are your hobbies? How do you handle your stuff? And would be happy to maybe host you for the future episodes of Backyard, so you can share your
Yeah,
about your hobbies. I know you play guitar or sitar.
that's all. Yeah.
Amazing. And one last question, Mehrdad. What do you think about Microsoft Learn?
You know, you actually mentioned all the greatest stuff about Microsoft Learn. You know, of course, it is the richest place to learn about anything. But of course, before jumping into the Microsoft Learn, materials or whatever that we have, it is better to know the way forward and what we are interested in, and knowing how we can, just get to that point and what we want to learn. And of course, the best place, for that one is the community. In the community, we can just reach out to the experts, reach out to our peers to see uh, how they are managing their the learning path, and what is the trending now, what is the right thing to do for learning a new thing, of course. And I highly really recommend for people to join the learning rooms, reach out to your experts, and also the peers, ask the questions. It is a great place. You can easily ask the questions, and people are there, they're eager to help everyone to just grow together.
Perfect, perfect. Very well said, Mehrdad. Thank you. Just gonna add your slides and your screen. Here is your screen. And with that, so I wish you good luck.
Do you see my screen? And
Yes, I
the,
can see your screen.
the slide. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Cool, everyone. Hi again. It is Mehrdad Abdollahi, Microsoft Learn expert and principal data architect. I'm the community lead of Microsoft Fabric Cafe, a learning room in Microsoft Learn community. And with over 15 years in software and data industry, in the last decade, I just concentrated more on data section, from data engineering, data analyst, and now data architect. Oh, sorry. And I'm based in Vancouver, Canada, and always a learner. We should always learn new things, and which is really important in our daily life and in our industry. If we want to survive, if we want to just stay ahead, in our career, of course, we need to learn new things and improve our knowledge, of course. So today I'm going to talk about the fundamental things, right? And I just wanted to mention to Hamid that this community that we are in now, it is Azure, Microsoft Zero to Hero. So we have people from all levels and with all level of the knowledges. And so why not we start from from the fundamental things, like data fundamentals, to know what's happening there, some core data concepts. We will talk about the Azure data services today, and some small demos on Azure portal and Fabric. And also we'll talk about the certifications and learning path for data experts and for the data professionals. So let's see, what is data firstly. In simple words, we can say data is a collection of facts and statistics that are including the numbers, letters, words, images, documents that are really important for an organization or for a person, or for personal usages. And we must store them somewhere, in order to reference them later, or even for using them for analysis purposes. Let's have some examples of the personal data. Everybody is working with the smartphones or even the old phones, right? We have a contact list of our in our phone, or even we have the photos in our gallery. So they are going to be stored somewhere. For example, for the contact list, of course, there is something in the backend that is storing the data like this, which we have, for example, the first name, last name, and phone number, and all of them are going to have a photo, for example. So it is an example of the personal data. Let's just have a look at it in a bigger picture that is in the organizational level, that how the data is going to be involved in the organizations. Let's say we've got the business users and customers, right? We have a business on top, which is established, actually, which has established a business, and we've got the customers, for the retail, for example, right? These customers are going to be fed with from the from the advertisements from movies or magazines, newsletter, or whatever. They're gonna get the advertisement. They know about this business. They're gonna go to the website, to the store, or on the mobile app. They're gonna purchase something, right? And the transactions of that purchase, or their attendance to that store, will be stored somewhere that we call it transactional data, right? And the data is going to be stored here in a database like SQL Server or Azure SQL database. So here we've got the Azure developers who are going to work with this data, right? And just store the data. They are going to facilitate the opportunity for users to store their data, and they're gonna actually persist on the system for future use, for reporting, for doing the analysis, for whatever that is required in that business. So that's fair enough. The data is stored somewhere. It needs to be analyzed, and it needs to actually create the report on that. Here we've got the data analyst. They're gonna connect to that database, and they create their reports, whatever that they needed. But sometimes that raw data is not really suitable for doing the analysis, right? And then from there, the analytical data comes in. So we basically, we can just extract whatever data that is required for the analysis, for the analysis, and then we just, we can just gather the data from different sources, or even aggregated them and then store them somewhere in another database. And here we've got the data engineers that are going to involve with this process, to do the data transformation, to do the data movement, and do all of those automations to get the data ready for data analysts. And then they can connect to that database or data warehouses, and then create their reports and visualizations on top of that. So business is happy with that, but the business wants to get more insights of the data. It wants to just grow their business. So they say, what is the relationship between for example, a customer and a product that was purchased somewhere, right? They want to find the patterns, and now it is the time that they are going to hire the data scientists. Data scientists are going to work with the data. They're going to study the data to find some patterns and relationship between available entities in our business. They can make use of the the data warehouses, the databases that we have, or even they're gonna work with actually external data, for example, from the advertisement that was made for that business. And at the end of that, they're gonna just create some patterns to be used, and creating some models actually to be used in machine learning. And so we've got some idea that how the data is basically spread within a business, and in software industry, in the data industry, where we can find data, and what kind of data professionals are going to involve with that. In terms of some data core concepts, actually, we should mention about different type of the data that we have, not the databases, the data that we have, relational databases and non-relational databases. For the relational databases, we basically have a structured data in tables, like the one that you are seeing in the left, right? That we have the customer, product, order, and line item. They are going to connect to each other. They are dependent on each other. For example, in the table of order, we cannot have any record without having a customer or product. So it is a relational database that are basically related together. An example of the data we can actually a database we can just refer to SQL. And for non-relational data, it is basically part of the unstructured or semi-structured data, like NoSQL databases, and some sort of examples can be the key values, for example, or even having the data in the format of JSON. That from the services we can mention about Azure Cosmos DB. And about another thing related to the actually data concept, we should refer to the data formats. It is structured, semi-structured, or unstructured data. For the structured data, we should mention that they are clearly defined data types, like the table that we have. We have a name, address, and phone. So everything is clear. The type of them is clear. All the rows must adhere to that schema, to that format that we have. That we have, and another type of that will be the semi-structured one, which it has the data has some structures, but not fully structured. For example, for that one, we can mention about the JSON format. That, for example, in one record of the customer, we have name, address, and contact. And in that contact, we have only one node in that array, and in the other node we may have more than one contact numbers, or even more detail about the data. Maybe an address is going to be added to the second one. And about the unstructured data, there is no predefined structure, and we can just refer to the text files, to the images and files. So given that all of this information that we talked about the type of the relational database, non-relational database, structured, semi-structured, all goes back to the first slide that we had, right? That a business wants some services, right? That based on those requirements, we will just choose which service is suitable for that business, for each section of the project that data falls in. So here we can just refer to some Microsoft Azure services. I don't want to talk about them. Defined it. Azure, everybody knows that it is a cloud computing platform and a service by Microsoft, which is very important. It is providing a lot of services to businesses, to organizations, and enable them to building, managing, and deploying applications globally. And it is very famous, and it is leading the market. I don't want to talk about this one, but what I want to talk about is the data services within Azure Microsoft. So again, back to the slide that we talk about the organizational data. We mentioned that we have different types of the data, right? We've got the transactional data. We need maybe sometimes the unstructured data or semi-structured data to be stored somewhere. So we need some storage options, and we need some tools for the data engineering and also for data analysis. For transactional data, we can mention about the Azure SQL database, which is a fully managed relational database. And for NoSQL services, for semi-structured stuffs that we have, and non-relational databases, we can mention about Azure Cosmos DB, which is a globally distributed one and multi-model database service. We will talk about them in detail later, and we will have just some small demos per items and for some of them, not for all of them. And we've got the storage options here for the Azure Blob Storage, which is a scalable object, storage for unstructured data, where there is no, match for our data to be stored in cloud. For example, we cannot store it in a database, or even it is not part of the JSON format, and it is a plain file, right? Like an image or document, or a voice or something like that. Then we can just store that in blob storage. Or even if we want to have a better place for doing the big data analytics on those data, we can just store them in Azure Data Lake Storage. The Data Lake Storage is basically built on top of the Azure Blob Storage. Whatever Blob Storage is offering, Data Lake contains that, which is actually optimized for big data analytics. For doing some data engineering stuffs, we've got Azure Data Factory that you can do your data integration and workflow orchestration. And also for doing the data analytics, there are a lot, but we can just mention about the Microsoft Fabric, which is an all-in-one analytics solution. Guys, just be aware that the data services are not limited to this list, right? We just brought some key services that are playing a role in the Azure data platform. And of course, we have other services that are designed for a specific purposes. But here we've got these items as representative of the data services in Azure. Let's just have a look at Azure SQL database for basically this for the relational databases, right? And the key features of and benefits of this Azure SQL database we can mention about its high availability, it is scalable, and the security of that. And in order to deploy and manage, it is very easy to create one Azure SQL database from the Azure portal, some clicks, some configurations there. We will just have a look at that, and it is very easy and easy to maintain even. And how where is suitable to use the Azure SQL database? We can mention about it is very suitable for enterprise applications and transactional systems, and of course for relational databases like that retail store that we talked about. Let's just have a quick look at this one. I've got something here. When we want to create a new resource, I'm in my Azure portal, and we can just say, for example, Azure SQL. And let's see what are the options available for us when we want to create an Azure SQL. So we can have the standalone SQL database that is going to be a single database, or the other options for the Elastic and database server. Or even we can just have and in that section for the database, the standalone database, you're gonna have less exercises for DB admins, so less maintenance. Everything is going to be maintained and covered by the Azure, and you can only have your database and whatever that you need. And the other option will be the SQL managed instances, that you can create an a server, a SQL server, and there you're gonna add your databases. Or even you can have if you're still working with the Microsoft SQL Server and in the legacy mode, you can just create your virtual machine, and then bring up your it is going to provide you with an pre-installed SQL Server. But about the SQL Server, the SQL database, Azure SQL database, it is going to give you some options here. You can just give it a name, define a server if you already have, just to choose it, or if you don't have it, you can create a new server, and just doing all of those configurations. It is not a tutorial for how to create a Azure SQL. We just want to basically just move over the options that are there and getting more familiar with the environment, how we can create a SQL database. But it's going to take time to make it ready. But what I want to do, I will just show you an existing one that I already have in my place here. Yeah. So it is the database that I have. It is a small one, very simple one. And then we can have, we can just do our, queries, or even connect to that database using the connection strings in our apps, in the, applications that we are going to work with. It is providing us with some connectivities like this, or even providing some, links to the other services like Azure Synapse, or so on and so forth. And you can do also your the admin stuffs, like the maintenance, whatever that is related to this database. Cool. Another service that we've got here was the Azure Cosmos DB, which is a multi-model database service. What does it mean? Cosmos DB is a NoSQL one, right? And it is providing us, in Azure, it is providing us to create the, NoSQL databases. It is providing us with the services from different, vendors, different types of the NoSQL databases like MongoDB, like Cassandra, and whatever that is part of the NoSQL. And it is highly recommended for if you would like to have a distributed database, and if you want to write your data in different regions. It is just providing this opportunity for writing the data in different regions, and you're gonna have a distributed system of your Cosmos DB, and it is auto scaling and with low latency. And the use cases will be the applications, web applications or mobile applications, where the speed is important. Of course, in Cosmos DB, in NoSQL, which is non-relational database, we have a faster speed in comparison with the relational one, which is in SQL, for example. And the other examples that we can use the Azure Cosmos DB for is Internet of Things, or even for gaming. And you can see for all of these 4 that we named here, speed matters. We just talked about the where we can store our transactional data, and our applications are going to be connected to, and we store our data there basically. But we mentioned about some exercises that data engineers are going to perform to gather the data from sources and prepare the analytical data for data analysts. So here they use the Azure Data Factory. The Azure Data Factory is actually a data integration service within Azure that is going to orchestrate the data movement and transformation. So we can copy the data, we can do all of the the ETL stuff, extract, transform, and load the data, and then eventually we can just store our data in a data warehouse or whatever that we have. And about the capabilities, I mentioned that it is a cloud-based ETL service, and basically it has data-driven workflows. And some key features of the Azure Data Factory, we can mention about, data integrations from various sources. You have a lot of pre-built connectors that you can add your data in. You can, get the data from APIs. You can get data from Azure services, or even from other cloud providers. You can bring your data in, transform it, and prepare it for your analytical purposes. You can have the pipeline orchestrations. And of course, the use cases for Azure Data Factory will be data migration, data transformation, data loading into data warehouses. Let's have a look at the item that we have here, the data factory that I have. Let's launch our studio. So, it is the homepage of the Azure Data Factory studio. There you can just, create your pipelines or edit your existing pipelines. As you can see, it is some sort of, drag and drop stuff. So you can have a lot of activities here that are going to be utilized for, loading the data. For example, here, we are copying the data from a source, like, a database, a database that I have already in my Azure SQL, and then just doing some transformation. Here I'm adding, for example, a column, a derived column at gender to that that data source, right? And it is going to be added to my database here. So, and of course, this pipeline that we have created, it can be automated. For example, we can add some triggers here. It can be triggered, or even it can be triggered by other events, for example, and it is going to connect with the other services. For example, some data is added to the Azure Data Lake, or a table got a new record, or even we can schedule this automation and this pipeline. And for those guys who worked with SSIS in the past, or even you're using now, it is somehow the same thing, but it is giving you more power with more connectors, and also more, it is much more flexible to work with the other services. And okay, let's back to our slides. So we got our transactional data. Our data engineers used the Azure Data Factory to create the data, data analytics. But let's just have some step back and see how a data analytics solution work in Azure. Let's say we have some sort of transactional data like SQL, or in Azure Cosmos DB, right? The data must have been brought somewhere to be analyzed, right? We can use Azure Data Factory, or even streaming services, and then store the data in the data lake storage, or even data warehouses that we have. But beside that, we can have other services like Azure Synapse Analytics, which is an analytical solution within Azure, or even use the Azure Databricks, the famous Databricks for analytical purposes, which Azure is actually providing those services within itself as well, or even Azure HD Insight that we have in order to do the analysis on big data, which is distributed in Hadoop clusters. And once the data is ready, then we can just do some, if it is required, some data transformation and creating our semantic model, then do the reporting and creating the visualizations using Power BI. You can see it is a lot of services involved here in order to create a new data analytics solution. and it is really hard to, sometimes it's going to be tricky, which service should I use. And that is why Microsoft just brought in Microsoft Fabric, which is basically an umbrella of some of the best services in data platform. And here, as you can see, Microsoft Fabric is containing some components. However, let me just start from the bottom. In the previous slide, we had the services, and each of them were platform as a services basically, and you had to just maintain somehow those services, right? But now in Fabric, it is specified. It is software as a service. You don't have to be worried about the servers. You don't have to be worried about the maintenance of your services and about the pricing, whatever is there. And in Fabric, everything is centralized. Everything is integrated. In the previous slide, we had the fragmented services in different vendors, different services. But in Fabric, we've got everything centralized, everything in one place to be managed much easier. For example, for storage in Microsoft Fabric, it is providing us with one lake, which is a flexible one. It is you're gonna have only one copy of your data for the whole organizations. Just imagine two different teams wanted to work on the same data. For example, a team in marketing, another team in sales, they wanted to work on the same data. So they created their Azure Synapse, for example, and they got their copy in their database, in their service, and we're gonna have, we would have some duplicated data. But in Fabric, we can have everything in one place. Everybody goes to the just refers to that single data. And for doing the analytical things in Fabric, of course, we have some sort of tools there, some sort of services in Fabric, which I believe the best services are picked up from Azure services. For example, for doing the data engineering, we've got the Data Factory, which is a combination of Azure Data Factory and data flow in Power BI. Or even for data engineering, we've got Synapse that there we can create our lake houses. We can create the lake houses are basically a combination of data lake and data warehouses, and it is a combination of that, and which is giving you a lot of benefits. And there in data engineering, you can create the notebooks to write your Python code and to do the data engineering as well. Or you have the data science service that you can just model your data, find the pattern from your data, and creating the machine learning models. So and you also have data warehousing option that you can create exactly whatever data warehouse system is offering somewhere else. It is available here in Fabric. You can create your data warehouse. Even you're provided with real-time intelligence, real-time analytics, where you bring your data as part of the streaming, like the IoT or the other streaming services that is happening outside of Azure, or even in Azure. They can be just streamed into Fabric, and we're gonna do the analysis and further steps based on those analysis. Just imagine, one example could be in a factory, right, in inventory, that the machines are working, and suddenly something goes wrong with that. It is going to just be informed to the streaming system, and a further action will be taken. So we've got our data, and we can have we can create our visualizations. We can do the business intelligence within Fabric using Power BI. So it is a famous one, a leading market, market leading, analytical tools in Microsoft platform, and also other stuffs. Copilot is always available in all services, almost all services in Fabric, and also in Azure SQL database, or even Azure Cosmos DB that we talked about. It is there to give you some hands to work with, actually to just create your codes, or even for Power BI, you can just enter your prompt, and it is going to create the visualizations and reports based on them. Let's have a look at the Microsoft Fabric portal and see how it is providing us with the with the services. Here is the landing page of the Microsoft Fabric. As you can see, it is providing us with these experiences. For example, in the data engineering, we can create our lake house, or even we can create the notebooks for the lake house. This actually workspace should be in the let me create a new workspace quickly. 0 to hero, and this should be start trial for this guy. This borrow, it should be good. Let me check if we can. Oh, yeah, the tenant has reached the number of available free trial. No worries. I've got another account for Fabric, but it is not available now in this machine. But that's good. At least we can see the options that are available to creating. For example, in the data factory, as you might mention, we can create either a data pipeline or a data flow Gen 2 that are basically providing us with a lot of opportunity for loading the data at scale in the data pipeline, or even in data flow Gen 2, we can use, for example, Power Query for doing the data transformation. Cool. We talked about different services, and also let's back again, just back to the slide that I had on organizational data. We mentioned about some data roles, data professionals who are going to involve within a project of the whole, the project of, in software, or even in the data solutions, or analytical solutions. We've got some data related roles. The first of all is the data engineer, and of course Microsoft is providing us with some certifications, some learning path, of course, and that you have to pass the exams. But some key data related roles are data engineers, who are going to just work with something like work with with a lot of services in Azure, including Azure Data Factory. Of course, they must know the different services, but maybe some concentrations will be on the Data Factory and the databases. We've got another data role, which is Azure Database Administrator. You're going to just do some administration stuffs, for example, for SQL, or even working with the Azure Cosmos DB. They're going to maintain those services. We've got the Power BI data analysts, which basically they are working with the Power BI to create the reports and create the visualizations. They work with semantic models and analytical data. Of course, they need knowledge from different places of different services, but main concentration will be on Power BI now, which is part of the Microsoft Fabric. But there's still we still have a standalone certification for that and job role. We've got also some a specialty for the Azure Cosmos DB developer. They are going to work with different models in Azure Cosmos DB, as I mentioned, for API for NoSQL or MongoDB, MariaDB, or whatever that is in the NoSQL. And also we've got the newly actually newcomer of our certifications in the past year, which is Fabric Analytic Engineer Associate, which was replaced to the Enterprise Data Analyst that we had in the past for Azure Synapse. But we've got now Fabric Analytics. They're gonna work with the Fabric app, and as you noticed, it is really providing a wide variety of services in Fabric. It is not an easy one, of course, but it is a sweet app. But if you have no idea where to start, of course, there is a Azure Data Fundamental course, and training and also learning path for that, which you have to pass the exam DP 900. This exam is not a prerequisite for the other certifications. It is only giving you an overview of what's happening in the different Azure data services. And of course, it can be a good start if you're starting from scratch. But if you already know that, you can directly go to the expertise that you're looking for. And here we've got some learning path. If you would like to learn more, just feel free to follow them for the Azure Data Fundamentals, for each of those certifications that we mentioned. I also added Azure Developer here, which is, the Azure Developer is also looking at, different services, including the API management, the Azure functions, and whatever that is, related to the whole development of in Azure platform. But of course, it is including the working with data services as well. So it is a good option for to actually be attended as well. So you can find the links there and enjoy learning. And just let us know if there is any question with that regard. Join the join the learning rooms. Join the your experts and your peers, and see what is the best way to start learning or continue learning. And you can also get your peers to learn with them, right? And you can just group up them and do your learning path together. Thank you very much. I'm somehow done, and I'm ready to wrap it off. If there is any question, I think we've got some here. Yep.
Thanks, Mehrdad. Really enjoyed it. I guess we have some questions that can show up on the screen.
Yeah, let me bring my screen here. It is a smaller one.
But yeah, we have a question from Faisal, but I'm not sure if he or she means asking questions on this chat forum or on the learning room.
Can we ask question on this forum, Mehrdad? Yeah, of course. I think Faisal just already asked the questions, I think.
Another question also comes from Faisal again.
Question 1. I am a UK-based learner, specifically in reading. Is there a specific community for UK-based learning? So, I'm to be honest, I'm not aware of any no learning room in UK. I'm located in Canada, but of course there are. You can find the user groups, from around the world for whatever that you're aiming for. Maybe it worth a try. Is worth try to just pop up your question in learning room in general or somewhere like that. Just ask if there is any group in UK. I know some of the learn experts are located there, but I'm not sure if they are leading any community there in UK.
Yeah, and also learning rooms actually are globally and also language based. So it's not country regional based, but rather it's mainly language specific. So if you go to the aka.ms/learning rooms, you will have the filter to choose the technology category and also the language. So from there you can choose the language that you would like to ask questions or be active within that learning room. We have another question
Thank you.
also from Faisal.
I come from a sales background with an interest in sales, data, and AI. Will the Microsoft Learn community integrate these functions together to create a wider scope? Uh, I'm not sure if I understood this well, because the sales is of course some industry, and how it is going to be combined with that. I one thing that I can mention here, or maybe we can just refer to something like Microsoft Fabric, right? There we have the industry solutions. If you are looking for a specific industry one, there are some industry solutions that there are some pre-built stuffs to combine your data and AI, of course, with the a specific industry. And it is the thing that I can mention. It is integrated there, and it is a pre-defined and pre-built models based on that industry. But how it is going to help you with sales, I'm not sure how to answer that, to be honest.
Sorry, I was muted. Hope that answers your
Or
question, Faisal. So this is our next question.
Fabric free trial, and my compute capacity has exceeded its limits with similar account paths and on their compute capacity when using. Perhaps you've got some uh, ongoing tasks, or maybe you have scheduled something in your Fabric, for example, a scheduled job, or active mirroring, or active shortcut, something like that. Of course, no, it is a free trial. There is a limit for that, and if even in Azure, Azure portal, when you are using your business one, you're using a service for your organizations, there are always there are best practices that you decrease your cost, right? And it is exactly the same thing that you need to know, the same exercise that you need to find out from the admin point of view, and from the pricing point of view, how to control it, right? How to just optimize your usage. So it is expensive, of course. It is expensive for everybody, for organizations, and there are always best practices how to maintain your hours and the compute. If it is the limit has passed, actually has exceeded, of course, you need to think about a new account trial, or uh, when you're gonna start with the new one, just keep in mind that you're not having any active or ongoing scheduled task that is going to use that you know uh, compute capacity.
We have a next question from Matthew. Hi, Matthew. Good to see you here.
Hey, Mahyar. Yeah, my friend. Can you briefly explain the difference between data flow and data factory? And what would be use case for choosing each? The data factory basically is an experience in Microsoft Fabric, right? That I think I still have it open here. So, the data factory is an experience, is a category of the components that we have in Microsoft Fabric, right? And it is basically, it is a category, and there we will have the items. So data flow Gen 2 is an item within the data factory. Maybe you've got, the question is the difference between data pipeline and data flow, right? And because it is coming, from the same background and same concepts that we had on Azure Data Factory. But however, the Data Factory is an umbrella on top of them. The data pipeline, there we will have the orchestration of the services, and we also have, we can just have different tasks and moving the data from different sources to one place. But the data flow is basically for data transformation, and it is providing us with with an opportunity to do the ETL, right? Extract, transform, and load. But in pipeline, we have other opportunities. For example, there we can have, extract and load it. We basically have the ELT, extract, load, and then we can do the transformation. And just keep in mind that data flow Gen 2 can be part of the executions of a data pipeline. I hope it answers the question.
Our next question is also from
the same question, actually. It is repeated, Hamid.
It's the same? Okay. So our last question, I guess, is from Harish.
Azure free subscription is based on the registered Microsoft account. I do have Microsoft account, but unable to have the free trial subscription, and I couldn't able to create services like the labs available in DP900 Learning. How to create a new free subscription. So the free subscriptions per Microsoft account is only happening one time, of course. And for each subscription, you need to have your credit card, added to your account, and it is there. And if you have used it, it is not anymore, free, and you have to pay for that. That's it. I think Hamid can answer a better, provide a better, answer for this kind of questions. Is expert really on these matters.
Okay, let me read the question again. I haven't watching this, so it is based on registered Microsoft. So yeah, as Mehrdad also mentioned, within your Azure account, you can start a trial subscription, but I guess each tenant has one a trial subscription, so you cannot initiate trial subscriptions one from after and having a new one. So I guess, as far as I know, because I also experienced it, this beside the sponsored subscriptions from Microsoft for specific categories like for MVPs or other award categories. But if you want to start for the first time, you will get it per tenant. But the second one, well, once you start, it will become pay as you go.
Cool. I think the last question is related to the pipelines. Can these pipelines be configured for something other than ETL solutions? Yeah, pipelines are, I already have, my, Azure portal open here. it doesn't have to start with or using for the DETL processes, right? We can use a lot of activities that you have. For example, for copying a data, it is not that ETL, right? Or even executing an Azure function, right? It can be started from from the beginning. So it doesn't have to be that ETL, but you know the title of that is Azure Data Factory. We use it for data movement, data transformation, and doing something with data. If you're looking for the other, integration things that you want to automate something within Azure, there are there are other options like Azure Logic Apps, doing the integration for us. Or if you want to have the no code, for example, or low code, you can even consider Power Automate, right, which is a simpler version of the Azure Logic app. And if you're talking about the data and you want to do the data movement and data transformation at the scale, of course, the Data Factory is your option.
Amazing. Sounds like that was the last question. So
Cool. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining and great questions. Yeah, that was awesome. I liked
amazing.
all of them. And just guys, if you're already in the learning rooms actually, sorry, you can just ping us there. My name is there. We can just ping me if you have any question, or even in LinkedIn, whatever that you're whatever social that you're comfortable with. But maybe the learning room is a great place to meet there, and we can just chat more, and it's going to be much easier. You're going to be notified on my phone, and I'm always available, and I try to be always available actually. But yeah, I'm here to answer any question if there is any. If not, I guess we can wrap up the session, Hamid. Thank you very
Right.
much for today.
Last thing, Mehrdad, thanks for the amazing session. I really enjoyed, by the way, and also we got also a lot of questions, and I guess we can now choose the best question, and we can provide an exam voucher to them. Since we got many questions, so maybe we can provide
You're
one exam.
you're putting me in really in tough situation, Hamid here.
The
But
good
I
question gets
guess
voucher.
all the questions really were great, and but maybe uh some let me just have a look at them and see if I'm not missing anything or something. Yeah, maybe we can just give it to Faisal if you're happy.
Faisal, okay?
Yeah.
Faisal Aslam, I guess. Okay, perfect. Faisal, if it's possible, you can send a message to us on our LinkedIn page for Microsoft Zero to Hero community, and I will be waiting for you. So just provide us with your email address, and I will be sending you 50% exam voucher for fundamentals and role bases. So looking forward, everyone, to see you in the next sessions, and prepare your questions, come ready with questions, so you might be getting an exam voucher. Perfect. Thanks much, Mehrdad, for taking time and
And
providing this great
thank you
information.
and congrats, Faisal, for your exam voucher. Just remember, when you just pass an exam, mention me.
Yeah,
We can just have a chat. Yeah, we will celebrate it together, right? Just keep
of
us
course.
updated,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Amazing. Thanks,
cool.
everyone.
Thank you very much, and
Okay.
enjoy the rest of your day, night, or evening. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Cheers, cheers.